Our next speaker, who trained me on how to say his name, and I'm still probably going to mutilate it, but he's a very interesting speaker, and I know you'll enjoy what he has to say. Keusenkothen. Huh? Let's hear it for the speaker. Hey, come on. Be he ever so humble. Ken is a trainer and an educator in the field of restorative justice and mediation. Thanks to Ken, I'm able to be here tonight because he was able to do my bond. And I only have 40 hours of community service. That's pretty good. He has taught mediation classes to criminal offenders in the Boulder County Jail, as well as foundational classes on restorative justice to professionals and volunteers affiliated with the Longmont Community Justice Partnership. LCJP partners with other community organizations such as the Longmont Police Department, the St. Vrain Valley School District, and the Boulder County District Attorney's Office. Ken has a degree in education from Miami of Ohio. Boo Miami, yay Athens, Ohio. Ohio University, that's where my daughter went. Sorry, Ken. Hate is a wonderful thing. Actually, Athens, Ohio's mascot tried out for 2 years to be the mascot just so he could tackle the Ohio University mascot on the football field. He was banned from sports forever and school, but what an effort. You probably talked to him. Anyway, let's see, where was I? Getting back to, Ken's the founder of Longmont Live, a community-based music series funded by a seed grant from Longmont Council of the Arts. Let's hear it for Council of the Arts. They are always there when you need them. This series of 3 concerts focuses on connecting emerging local artists with established musicians. Ken lives in Longmont, Colorado. When not working, he enjoys playing music with a local band and cycling. Folks, I give you Ken.
So again, my name's Ken. I realize I should have done a presentation just on myself for the length of my bio there. So thank you for learning about me. I'm here, I'm a coordinator, I'm an elementary educator by training, but I somehow found my way to Longmont about 3 years ago. And I basically train folks once a month on how to sit in restorative justice processes. Our program, LCJP, which is just a couple blocks over, our job is to cultivate a safe and caring community, reduce crime, bring people together, and create justice for all. That's a pretty tall order. So how do you do that? Well, we choose to partner with the school system. So St. Vrain Valley School District actually refers us cases. And we have a team of high school students and middle school students who actually learn how to mediate conflict. Now the high schoolers are actually training the middle schoolers how to do it, so they're coming into high school with these skills. We also work with the police department. About 90% of our cases are direct referrals from the police officer. They make a choice when they could arrest somebody to refer them to our program. Basically, somebody has to take responsibility for their actions and say that they want to make right what they did wrong. So I'm going to tell you just a brief story. One of my first processes as a facilitator. All the names are changed in this. The woman came to us, and she was a grandmother, and she was out in her front yard one day, and she was from a rural part of Eastern Europe. She was outside with her granddaughter and decided to take care of the weeds in her front yard. Now, the way she did that was use fire. The neighbor didn't like that, called the police called the fire department, and the fire truck showed up. She just thought she was taking care of her weeds. That was how she grew up dealing with the problem. But the fire department showed up, the police showed up, and when they talked to her, she was horrified that this was a crime. So there's a great amount of shame involved in this. They went through the process, and the officer had to make a decision and ended up referring her to us. Now, if this process would have gone the normal route, basically the police officer could have written her up, given her a ticket. It's possible she would have ended up in the court system. Standing in front of the judge, because of the nature of her actions, she could have been charged with anything from neglect, because her granddaughter was out in the front yard with her. She could have as well been charged with arson or some version of that, But fortunately, none of those things happened. If she would have experienced those charges, it's possible she could have gone to jail. And I hate to think of what would have happened. Again, this was a woman probably in her 60s or 70s. But that could have been an outcome. Now, this is a person who took care of the grandkids in her family. She was actually considered a matriarch in her family. Very proud, both of her home. Never had any prior offenses. So imagine if you're checking yourself right now, something that doesn't quite feel right about that as an outcome. So fortunately, the officer referred her to us. Had she gone through that system, she'd be reintroduced back into the community, never really being educated on what she did wrong. No chance to ever make repair, no chance to ever save face. So she was referred to us, and our process is a little bit different. Now, we work out of a bright yellow house 2 blocks over. The case was referred to us, and our coordinators checked into it, and they referred her to a volunteer facilitator. The facilitator met with her, heard her story, invited her to a process where the chief of the fire department was present. There were people just like you acting as community members. And then the facilitator was there as well. So what happened was we talked about what she did wrong, what she could do to repair it, and we came up with a contract. And the contract has 3 to 5 items in it. Her contract, and everybody who comes through our program has to complete a contract. If they complete all the items, then their names are free and clear. They don't have a record, a police record. So for her, it was things like an apology letter to her neighbors for what she did. She had to do research on what the fire code was and how wildfires spread. She actually ended up preparing food for the guys in the fire department who rallied the trucks. So this whole educational process that went around it, as well as community service. Because she did complete, she was reintroduced back into the community. Had she not completed in her contracted time, she would have been sent back to the police department. So it's not a get out of jail free card. You actually have to make right. Now, I've experienced the power of this, but these are the numbers. I want to focus on this one. We have 176 total people come through our program. 7% reoffend. Almost 100% said this is a great process. Now, if 176 people ended up going to the Boulder County Jail for a year, it would cost about $4.5 million. Our program budget is $385,000. So if you think of the resources that could be used in jail, applying them towards an educational opportunity, given the things that Annalise is concerned about, she shared her opinions at the beginning there, this is a different way to deal with some of the challenges in our world. This is the superintendent of schools, the chief of police, and the district DA for Boulder County. All of them have sat on our board. We have 7 staff members, but these guys have all chosen to sit on our board. They've endorsed this on their website. I'll leave you with one last story. These are the 5 R's. These are the philosophy of restorative justice. I work with a high school team, and the kids say that they live by these. Respect, responsibility, repair, reintegration, relationship. Now, 2 of the kids in these pictures, they were sitting in Ziggy's one day telling a story, and one of the girls who got a little out of control in an English class. And the other girl simply said to her, "Are you living by your principles?" And that was enough to bring her back into check, to stop disrupting the class. These kids have a very high standard for how they live, and I think they're a great example. If you'd like to get involved, you can learn more, volunteer, advocate, or donate. Our next training is March 9th. Thanks. Thanks. Good job.
Good advice, good information. You know, when you see all these things about high school and that, how many of you have gone back for your high school reunions? Okay. I've got a 50-year reunion coming up this year, and I was thinking of going back, but I'm calling it my apology tour. You know, I'll apologize to everybody and thank them for getting me through there. Make amends, shall we say? Like a friend once told me, though, you know, why would you go back to some place where nobody ever talked to you before and you're older now, well, why do we go back? We go back in hopes that we look so frickin' hot, everybody else does not. I'm in training right now for my reunion.